All right, this is Yobachi coming at y'all, and I want to talk to you about the Protect America Act. It's something that I've been blogging about a lot recently at my blog, blackperspective.net. And if you're not familiar with what's going on, there is a bill in Congress. It's called the FISA Act. Actually, that bill's been around since '78, but there have been some amendments to it, starting with an amendment to FISA itself, the Foreign Intelligence Security Act. After the September 11th attack, there was an amendment to it in 2001, and there have been some subsequent amendments through, and most recently in August, they passed what is called the Protect America Act, which was supposed to update FISA for electronic purposes and for quicker ability to intercept information on foreign terrorists making calls or other telecommunications into the United States. But there are some grave issues with this, starting with the fact that a lot of Americans' communications were handed over to the government without any warrants being issued, and that the telecoms did this illegally. The administration requested this information illegally, and the telecoms illegally complied. And now the corporate stooges in Congress are trying to pass a bill to give them amnesty for their crimes that they committed and to allow for more free reign of spying on Americans. Also, this passed in the Senate in mid-February, but the House is not going along with it so far. The Democrats normally wilt in these issues, but so far the Democratic leadership this time has stood strong, and it's not sold out like the Senate Democrats, who about 20 of them went along with this bill in the Senate. So anyway, here's one of my more recent posts. It's called Protect America Act as a Con. The Bush administration uses terrorism in 9/11 to create a boogeyman justification for all of its warrantless wiretapping and data mining and spying on Americans. The fact of the matter is that warrantless spying was begun by the Bush administration almost as soon as he took office, at least 7 months before September 11th. Proving that the warrantless spy and wiretapping that was initially uncovered had nothing to do with need to rapidly respond to 9/11 and prevent more terrorist attacks as claimed by the Bush administration, but was a power grab and a frontal assault on the Constitution and our freedom. There's an article that details how the Bush administration went to the telecommunications industries to get American phone companies information months ahead of 9/11. And I should have this stuff posted in the sidebar here at YouTube so that you guys can see these different articles that I'm talking about. And then there's another article detailing the NSA's comprehensive spying from the time that Bush practically took office. So when they claim that they need these powers and so forth, and that they did this illegal spying on Americans because they had to in order to protect us after 9/11, because that changed the world, and they just had to do whatever they wanted in violation of the Constitution to make sure we're safe. That's clearly not true. They started doing it before 9/11. And also, somebody made a point. One place I was reading that if they were doing this months ahead of 9/11, and 9/11 still happened, obviously these methods aren't effective. But the article that tells you about the spying before 9/11, or some of it anyway, is called "Spy Agency Sought U.S. Call Records Before 9/11," lawyers say. This was by Andrew Harris at Bloomberg.com. And like I said, I'll have the link posted in the sidebar over there. And the one on NSA, let me see if I can get that opened up so I can see what it's called. It might take me a second on that. Anyway, this is why the Protect America Act that expired. This is why the Protect America Act, which expired a couple of weeks ago, should be allowed to die, and why the House leaders must be both implored to maintain the protections of the Restore Act, which was sponsored by Representative Reyes and Representative Conyers in the House, and they need to reject amnesty for the criminal telecoms that violated well-established law in the Constitution. The Restore Act basically lists a number of different protections that must be adhered to and followed in any type of wiretapping and spying that is done, particularly involving Americans. Basically, it just reiterates the Constitution anyway, But since the Constitution has been run over in these last 7 years, it really puts back in protections and makes them clear and specific so that there is no ambiguity about what can and can't be done and how our civil liberties can and can't be violated. I think that's really good. I think you should check that out too. I'll have that link in the sidebar. All right. I'm really urging people to call the Democratic House leadership, to call their representative in the House of Representatives from wherever they're from, but also to call the Democratic leadership in the House, because they're the ones who are negotiating this bill. And they have the power to bring it to the floor or keep anything from coming to the floor. And we don't even want them to allow to even negotiate a bill with the Senate to be brought to the floor that includes amnesty for the criminal telecoms who handed over our communications information, handed over their customers' communication information to the government, or to do this in a way that will stop investigations from going into what did the government do for the last 7 years, and what type of information were they collecting and how did they use it. If you don't allow for anyone to sue the people who did this, that cuts off all investigation and all avenues of us ever finding out what the government has been up to. And we shouldn't allow this. Anybody who's for freedom and for democracy and believes in the Constitution should be with us on upholding the Fourth Amendment. Don't allow the Congress to negotiate amnesty for crimes by the rich and powerful. They're basically trying to give a blank check to corporate America to blatantly commit crimes and have no repercussions for them. And I sternly believe this is something that we should not allow. The people who are in the House of Representatives who have the power to negotiate this bill right now, I guess I should have said what day this is. This is March the 3rd that I'm making this recording. This might not actually be posted till March the 4th, but I'm not sure. I might get it up tonight or it might not be till tomorrow. But all these things are still in play right as of March the 3rd when I'm making this recording. That the House has not made a decision on forming a specific bill and bringing it to the floor. So we still have time to put pressure on these people. The House Democratic leadership includes Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, Steny Hoyer, the Majority Leader, James Claiborne, the Majority Whip, John Conyers, the head of the Judiciary, and Sylvester Reyes, the Intelligence Chair. And those two chairs are relevant to this particular bill, and they're two of the people who are, Conyers and Reyes are two of the people who are doing the negotiating. The General Switchboard for the House of Representatives, the phone number is 202-224-3121. This can get you to any representative. You can call that number and get any representative's office number. And also you can go to www.house.gov to get any of the www.house.gov to get any of the email websites of these different people so you can get their emails or any other contacts. And that phone number again is 202-224-3121. I'll have all this in the sidebar. The most recent post I did on this issue is called